Good morning. Hello, eighth graders. Welcome to our technology class for week 4. I do have a bunch of things I just want to mention before we actually get started with what I had planned for today, only because I feel like maybe there's some misunderstandings with the first assignment because I seem to be getting parts of it from you guys. So I'm going to quickly review what I'm looking for with that assignment. But before I do that, if I call your name, you still haven't joined our Google Classroom. And this is just an easy assignment. You literally get 100 for joining our Google Classroom. So I'm just going to call out the names of the people who haven't joined yet. So I have John, Jaden, Julia, Linda, Sophia, Brianna, and Joshua. So if I haven't spoken to you yet, I mean, you haven't told me why you haven't signed up, please make sure that you do that. So I'll remind you how to do it. In week 1, I give the steps. So you have to click here on this website, click sign in, then sign in with your Google account, click I am a student, and then join a class and put in this class code so that you can sign in. So you'll need to be able to sign into the Google Classroom because I have all of our lessons in there, and you won't be able to actually go into the lessons if you don't have your account there, okay? And plus, I'm counting this as an easy grade, so I would hate for you to get a 0 for not signing into the Google Classroom. That's so easy, okay, guys? So the people's names that I just called, please make sure you do that as soon as possible, okay? All right, so our assignment that we did 2 weeks ago was a current event, technology's role in current events. And when you were inside of the classroom and you started here, you got to choose a topic. So the topics were all on here in this page. So you have to choose one of the topics here. There's a bunch of them. If you notice, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 10 topics. You choose one of them, okay? You choose one of them. When you click on it, it's going to open up a Google Doc with questions, okay? What you need to do is you need to go and you need to research the answers to those questions. How do you do that? Well, it gives you sources already here. It gives you sources that you can click on. And then you're going to type the answers to your questions after each one. So for example, I could type it here, whatever. So type your answers here after each question, okay? So that was the first part of what you're doing. That's your research part, right? And then when you're done answering the questions, you're going to make sure, did you use all the sources? Did you use any other sources? Make sure that you update your sources, and then you can go and share the page with me. So I should get one of these pages from everybody, okay? And you can change your title. You can put your name in there, and you can call it Mrs. Erica's, research questions. And then you can leave your topic and then press share and share them with me. So that's the first part of the project. 2 separate grades here. I'm giving you a grade on these questions. Did you actually research them? Did you go and look at the sources? That's part of doing research. You can't just make up information from your head. You have to actually go look at sources and then come up with the information and then answer the questions. The second part of what you're doing, which I did receive from some of you guys, I'm just going to use an example here. This is Victoria. She made a short little Google Slides here summarizing her information that she found about her topic. So she did technology and natural disasters. She put some of the questions and some of the research that she found, and then she put her source. So this is what I'm looking for. This is the second part of what you're doing. So you should then share this with me. Some of you chose to do it a little bit differently. for example, this is Eric. He just kind of wrote up a summary page and put some points of what he learned here. So, I mean, I think it looks nicer in a Google Slides, but I was also accepting it if you just did a summary page with the main facts that you learned from your research. But again, you have to include the other page with your research questions, okay? I don't just want one thing from you. I'm looking for two separate things, because the whole point of the project is, are you learning how to research something? And can you take the facts of what you're learning from your research and turn it into a short PowerPoint, right? A short Google Slides, and actually present it to someone, okay? So please go back and fix it this week. If you're missing half of it, send me whatever half you're missing so that I have two pieces of the project from you. I have the Google Docs with your research questions, and then I have the Google Slides with your short little presentation, okay? If you're confused, you should email me, and then we can figure out what you're confused about. But again, the kids' names that I called, you have to join the Google Classroom, because otherwise you won't have access to these topics, and you won't have access to these documents with the questions. So you need to join the class as soon as possible, okay? All right, hopefully that clears up that project. All right, so this week we are on Technology Week 4. So we are going to be doing another short project here. It's more of an assignment. It's not really a project. We're going to be learning how to create a quiz in Google Forms. So I'm going to go through that with you today. Before we do that, I just want to tell you about your typing assignment. So every week you will have a typing assignment, and yes, it does count as your grade. So this week, your typing assignment is called Skill Builder. So if you go into your 8th grade tech and you click on assignments, you'll see there's one called Skill Builder. As soon as you're done with it, I'll get a yes that you did complete it. So I was looking at the typing assessments. It looks like Jaden did it, Emmanuel, Tyler, Christina, Victoria, Chloe, Eric, Alan, and John did the typing assessment. That was the one from last week. So if it has a no next to your name, you didn't do it yet. So please do it, because this is already, now you're getting behind. And then this week, you're gonna do the Skill Builder. So please make sure you do it so that it'll show as a yes. As soon as you do it, you get a 100. So, I mean, it's really easy. Okay, guys? All right, so let me move into the lesson for this week. So again, if I go into 8th grade tech here, you'll notice there's a lesson here. It says create quizzes in Google Forms. So I'm going to go to view lesson. I'm going to click start, and I'm going to start with you guys. Okay, so I'll go through the videos on here and I'll do it with you. Okay, so let me put this on.
Quizzes are a way to measure understanding of a topic. Your teacher might use quizzes to test your knowledge and find out how well you understand the concepts and facts you're being taught in class. You can also make your own quizzes to test yourself or your classmates. You might make a quiz to help you study material for a group assignment. You might use a quiz to familiarize yourself or test friends on facts or vocabulary for an upcoming test. You also might use a quiz as part of a classroom presentation on a book or a topic to test your classmates' knowledge and make your project more interactive. In this lesson, you will create a quiz in Google Forms to test someone's knowledge about a topic. With digital quizzes in Google Forms, you can share the quiz with your whole class, take the quiz on computers, and see your grades afterwards. Google Forms automatically grades quizzes and keeps track of quiz answers, making it easy to see which topics you and your classmates need to study further. The example in this lesson uses the free G Suite application, Google Forms. You could also make a quiz in a document to print out or email. As you complete this lesson in Google Forms, you will create and format a form using the quiz setting, add questions and answers, assign point values to questions, and create an answer key. Share your quiz with classmates for them to take and review quiz responses and scores. To complete this lesson, you must sign in to your Google account. Open a new tab in your browser and sign in now. If you don't have a Google account, create one before beginning this lesson. After signing into your Google account, move on to the next video to choose a topic and get started building your quiz.
Okay, so let me show you guys. So again, if we keep clicking next, it's going to guide you through. So I'll go through the video so you don't have to watch them again.
In the previous video, you learned why quizzes are a useful tool for studying and testing knowledge of a topic. In this video, you will choose a topic for your quiz. Then you will open Google Forms and create a quiz. You could create quizzes in a document or on paper, but with forms, you can add question formats that are easier for the quiz taker to complete and can be graded automatically. To start, choose a topic for your quiz. Your teacher may assign you a subject, or you may have something in mind that you want to study. Some possible quiz topics include vocabulary or concepts, facts about a place or a time period, current events, or literary devices, plot, theme, or characters. Consider topics you need to review for an upcoming test, report, or presentation. Or choose a school subject and test your partner's knowledge. When you've chosen a topic, create a new tab in your browser and open Google Forms. Start a new blank form. Update the settings to make this a quiz. Save your settings. Don't worry about the other options for now. Give your quiz a title. Make the specific subject of your quiz clear. Then, write a brief description of the quiz, including any details that might help the person taking your quiz, such as textbook chapters referenced or period of time being covered. Now, it's your turn. Choose a topic for your quiz. Open Google Forms in a new tab, change the settings to quiz, and give your quiz a title and description.
Okay, so let's do it. So I'm going to go into my Google Drive here, and I'm going to open up new. I'm going to go to Google Forms. So I want a blank form. And then I have to go into my settings here, and I need to go to quiz, make this a quiz, and then press save. And then I need to give it a title. So make up something. Guys, I want you to make this useful for you. So for example, if you have a test coming up next week or something, maybe it's a science vocabulary test, maybe it's a history test on different terms or something. Whatever it is, I want you to actually take your book and whatever the study questions are. So I'll just pretend, I'll just put science. I'm just going to change this. I'll just put science, vocabulary quiz, and then you could put a description. This is a short quiz reviewing the science vocabulary from chapter 1. Okay, so that is what we're going to do at this point. So make sure that you have the title of your form here, your quiz, and a little description, okay? All right, so let me go to the next part. So hopefully that's easy enough. Let's watch this.
In the previous video, you chose your quiz topic and built your form. In this video, you will start creating your quiz with multiple choice questions. Google Forms includes several types of quiz questions. Many quizzes include multiple choice questions, so add a new question in that format. Multiple choice questions give several potential answers. The quiz taker must select the right answer to get the question correct. An effective multiple choice question has one right answer. It tests the quiz taker's knowledge of facts and concepts, but it does not ask them to make inferences, prove an argument, or speculate. For example, the question, "What should the main character have done at the end of the story?" and "Was the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor justified?" are not effective multiple choice questions. They ask the quiz taker to make an argument or educated guess, so there's no clear right answer. When typing in a multiple choice question, it helps to first think of the term or concept that will be the right answer, and then write the question. You might think of a fact or statistic, and then write a question with that answer. Or you might choose a vocabulary term, then construct a question for it. Phrase multiple choice questions so that they end with a question mark, rather than a colon or a fill in the blank. This makes your questions easier to understand and directs quiz takers to select one answer. Make each multiple choice question you add to your quiz required, so the quiz taker has to answer all the questions to get a grade on the quiz. Next, type in answer options. When adding multiple choice answers, make one answer right and all others wrong. Avoid best answers or answers like all of the above or none of the above. Make wrong choices reasonable, so it isn't obvious which answer's right. And include 4 or 5 multiple choice answer options rather than a long list. These guidelines ensure questions are fair and don't confuse or trick the quiz taker. Type in your answer choices. Keep all possible multiple choice answers around the same length and format, so no one answer doesn't stand out from the rest. For example, don't make one answer a long phrase and the rest 1 or 2 words. If you decide not to include an answer, delete it. Continue adding at least 3 multiple choice questions to your quiz, following the same guidelines. Before the section of multiple choice questions, insert a title and description. Type a title that describes the question format and write clear instructions. Now, it's your turn. Create at least 3 multiple choice questions for your quiz and insert a title and description before the section for instructions on answering the questions.
Okay, so let's give it a try, okay guys? So we go back to our form, let me find it. And so you're going to go here for add a question, and then it already is on multiple choice. So maybe you have something like an organism is, and then you could have a few different definitions for it, right? You could have a robot. I'm making, obviously we know that, maybe I shouldn't say that, then that's, obviously we know that wouldn't be right. You know, a living thing, I don't know, just come up with a few other ones that you can plug in. And then after you, so I would say have at least 3 choices here. So do A, B, and C, 3 of them. And then for your description here, you can just have a little description like she was just saying. Oh, oops, what did I do? I made a wrong thing. Sorry, here it is. Add a title or description. So add a title or description, multiple choice questions, and then you can just say, for the next 3 questions, choose the best answer. Okay. So remember, with multiple choice, you always want at least 3 choices. Okay. So you're choosing any topic. So it could be, say it's social studies, you know, you could put a few questions in there and then just have 3 different choices. And this will be good because you can share these with each other. So if, say, you do have a test coming up, why don't you just, as your assignment here, make a quiz up that another kid can take, and then you can take somebody else's, and it'll be a good way for you to study. So remember, when you're typing in your question, like I just made this one up, an organism, because we were pretending it was science. An organism is, you have 3 possible definitions. You put here required because you do want them to choose the correct answer. Okay. All right. So now I believe she's going to show you how to actually add more questions, and then how to be able to score it. Okay. So let's see.
In the previous video, you began writing your quiz by adding multiple choice questions. You can also include other types of questions in your quiz. Varying your question format tests the quiz taker's knowledge of different types of information and makes your quiz more challenging. In this video, you will add true, false, checkbox, and multiple choice grid questions to your quiz. To start, use the drop-down option to create true or false questions. The words true and false will appear in the drop-down menu, and the quiz taker will choose one correct answer. When creating a true or false question, write a statement that is obviously true or false based on the material you are quizzing. This keeps your quiz fair and tests a quiz taker's knowledge of the material. Use checkboxes to offer more than one correct answer. Then, in the directions or in the question itself, specify how many answers the quiz taker should check off. To create a matching style question to test items like vocabulary and definitions, use the multiple choice or checkbox grid options. In the question field, type the matching instructions. In the rows, type in the vocabulary definitions. In the columns, add the terms. Mix up the order of the terms and definitions to make the matching more challenging. Require a response for each row. Your quiz will make the most sense if you group the question types. Move questions around so that all the questions of the same format are grouped together. Before each question type, insert a title that describes the question format. Include clear instructions for each type of question. To see how your quiz will appear to quiz takers, use the preview option. Review your questions, answers, titles, and descriptions to make sure they are fair, make sense, and look the way you expect. Return to your quiz to edit or add more questions. Google Forms also includes other types of questions, such as short answer, paragraph, and linear scale. These involve more complex grading and question building and are not part of this lesson. Now, it's your turn. Use different question formats to make your quiz more challenging. Add at least 3 additional questions to your quiz. Add titles and descriptions before each question format, and view your quiz in preview mode.
Okay, so let's go back to our quiz now. So again, I would like you to, let me go to my quiz. I would like you to at least add in one with a drop down, and then one with the multiple choice grid. So it's great if you're doing, if you do want to do the vocabulary section, you could say match the vocabulary word to its definition. And then you can have a bunch of the words in here and a bunch of the definitions. And then remember, require a response in each row. You can also try to do a, let's see, a drop down. So you can have a true false if you want. Do a true false. And then you could maybe have put a definition of something like an organism is also known as a robot. True or false, and then they would click the correct answer. Okay, so add in a bunch more of the different types of questions. So remember, like they were saying in the video, do not use short answer, paragraph, or linear scale. You can do multiple choice, checkbox, drop down, multiple choice grid. Those would all be great. So I would say, yeah, I'm going to require you to have at least 10 questions on the quiz. And then for every different type of question, you have to just add in the description. So for example, for this one, where did it go? For the one with the true and false, you would have to just add in true false question, true false questions. And then choose true or false for each question. And then you could do a few true or false ones. If you want to do the matching ones where you match up the different vocabulary words, you could have match the vocabulary word. Okay, vocabulary words to their definitions, okay? Whoops, having a hard time spelling today. So again, add a nice description and then put, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but you can drag any of these around. So you can drag them. So you can make sure all your true falses are here. Put any of your matching ones, your multiple choice. You can just make it look really nice. And then when you want to preview it, you press the preview button over here, and then you could be able to see what your quiz would be looking like, okay? So remember, you can choose any topic you want, choose something that you have a test coming up, and then make a 10-question quiz. Just make sure that your quiz has a few true and false, a few multiple choice, a few matching, so that way you're learning how to use all the different types of questions, the different formatting, okay? All right, so now let's learn how to actually assign a point value so that you can score the quiz.
In the previous videos, you created your quiz by writing questions and answers. In this video, you will assign point values and correct answers for each question to create an answer key. To start, click on the first quiz question you created. Then, select the answer key. Choose the correct answer for the question. The quiz taker won't be able to see your selection. Next, assign a point value for the question. Continue adding answers for each question in your quiz. Make all questions worth the same number of points, or make some worth more than others if they're more difficult or more important. The point values must be whole numbers. If you included a multiple choice or checkbox grid question in your quiz, assign each row a point value when you select the correct answer for the answer key. Repeat these steps for all of your quiz questions until each is assigned a point value and a correct answer. The total point value for your quiz automatically increases as you assign points to each question. If you need a specific total point value for grading purposes, determine that number before you assign points to each question. Then, divide the total point value of the quiz by the number of questions. Be sure to count the individual rows in the grid format as individual questions. If your division doesn't work out evenly, add or delete questions, or adjust the point values for questions until they add up to the correct total. Preview your quiz to see how it will look to quiz takers. Review the point values beside each question.
Okay, so obviously, if we are going to make it the requirement for 10 questions here with the quiz that we're going to do with you guys, then you could make them each worth 10 points just to make your life easier, right? So if you add in 10 points to your quiz, 10 questions to your quiz, you can then do your answer key. So you would choose, for example, whatever the answer is, you click on it and then you put your points and make it be 10 points, okay? And then that way, when the person takes the quiz, if they get it right or wrong, it'll be worth 10 points. And if you have 10 questions, you can make it easier and it'll just work out that way. Okay, guys? I think that'll be the easiest way. All right, so now it says take and share your quiz. So you should definitely preview your quiz, take your quiz, and then share it with a friend so that you can use it to study. You know, back when I was in school, we used to just make index cards because I didn't have Google Forms. But it's so great. You guys can quickly type up a Google quiz and you can share it with each other, and it can really help you guys to be able to study, right? Okay, so I'm not going to go through all these videos because I feel like it's just too many videos then, because I think you guys understand what you need to do, right? So you are going to be inside. I'll show you one more time. You're going inside of your Google Drive here, and you are going into New. You're going to Google Forms, and then you are changing your setting of to an actual quiz. Changing it to a quiz, make this a quiz, and then you're adding in 10 quiz questions. You're making sure to put a title and description, and then you are putting your questions underneath, okay? So you make sure you have your title, and then add your questions. Make sure to use multiple choice, checkbox, drop down, and multiple choice grid. So if you have 10 questions, you can divide them up amongst those. So that way you use each of the different categories. So the way I will score you on this assignment is I will be looking for, number one, you started a new Google form and you gave it a title. So whatever it is, social studies quiz, science vocabulary quiz, robotics quiz, make up a quiz for whatever it is that you need to study for. That you added in 10 questions, that they all were different. So multiple choice, checkbox, drop down, multiple choice grid, that you added the correct answers to each one in the answer key, and you also added the correct number of points. And then you will be able to send me the quiz. So when I take your quiz, I should be able to look at it and see that you did it correctly, that your points add up, that you have descriptions in there of the different questions. You have different question formats, and that it just looks like a solid quiz that we could use with anybody to study. Okay? So hopefully this is a helpful tool for you guys to use as you're preparing for these upcoming exams and things. Okay, guys? All right, so this will be due next week. So go ahead and make yourself a quiz that will be helpful and useful to you in the next week or so as you're studying for whatever test that you have. All right, if you have any questions, email me. Otherwise, the links to the 8th grade Google Classroom is here. Your typing link is here. And you guys should be able to get this done. All right, so I will see you guys next time. Have a good day.